Hello, this is Chiak. We are back again with another set of Detective D Silk Rose murder, where we are trying to figure out what happened. Why did someone want to murder Lin Fei? Is it Lin Fei? I'm sorry, I should remember this. This chisel alone. Oh, I need to combine it with two. Okay. Grab this. Combine. Alright. Then it seems the others were right about Liu Zilin. He was indeed up to no good. The secret stash is full of blackmail material taken from some of the most powerful people in the city. Most of it looks incriminating evidence of some sort. Liu must have been collecting all this in order to extort his chosen targets. With any luck, yes, there's Xiao Bao's medallion. Okay. Either way, off we go to the victim's house. Xiaobao, I have your medallion.
My medallion, you found it.
You're coming in from the back? The back of the house?
Thank you, Officer D.
A promise is a promise. Now, Xiaobao, can you tell me what Liu Zilin wanted from you?
Well, after he took my medallion, he told me I had to keep watch on the neighborhood for him or else he wouldn't return it. He said there are criminals everywhere and I had to spy on them, but I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone about it.
Did he tell you why you had to do that?
He said he wanted me to help him catch people doing bad things. He said this area was known for its gangsters and ruffians, and that he needed someone like me to keep an eye on them. He came to see me every week to ask me about what I saw or heard, but every time he refused to give me back my medallion.
I see. He was using you as an informant. Did he ask you to spy on Shu Lin Fei?
No, he never asked me to do that. I did that on my own.
On your own?
Fei Fei was a friend. I was worried about her.
How well did you know her?
We became friends not long after she moved here. She was kind to me. She used to buy steam buns from the market, the fresh kind, you know? She would share some with me all the time. At first I said I couldn't accept them because I didn't have any money, but she said it was a gift. She even liked my little statuettes. It's a hobby of mine. I carved them out of small pieces of wood. She was the only one who ever liked them. But Fei Fei was all alone. She had to take care of her father, so I tried to help.
How did you help?
I came over all the time to watch over the house. I wanted to protect her, make sure she was safe.
So you were here on the night she was killed?
I'm useless. I wanted to guard her from danger. Now she's dead.
It's not too late to help your friend. If you witness something, now is the time to speak up. Tell me what you saw on the night of the murder.
I was coming over to visit Fei Fei. I wanted to show her my new wooden statuette. But when I arrived, I saw someone walking out of the house. I was hiding there by the fence, like I always do. But it was too dark. I couldn't see who it was. As he passed by, I thought of the evil spirit from my nightmares. I was too afraid to do anything. I just ran away. It was only later that I found out that Fei Fei was murdered. He was right there. The killer was right there. And I did nothing. I should have done something.
Can you describe the stranger?
It was dark. I couldn't see his face. But he was tall. And he moved very fast. Almost as if he was gliding.
Did you see what he was wearing?
He was black all over. some sort of shadow. He didn't even seem to have any legs.
Was Ch2 the stranger?
Mrs. Shu? No, sir. The person I saw was tall and fast. Mrs. Shu can barely walk without his stick. It couldn't have been him. Besides, Mr. Shu loved Fei Fei. He'd been so happy since her return. He would never hurt her.
Don't blame yourself for what happened, Xiaobao. Take solace in the fact that your testimony will help free Ch2. Why were you spying on me earlier?
I wasn't spying on you, sir. I've been coming here every day since Fei Fei died. I wanted to say goodbye.
When Liu Zilin came here to investigate the crime scene, did you tell him what you saw?
No, sir. I tried to speak to him, but he kept telling me to leave. He said there were too many people around. I didn't know who else to talk to, so I waited for him to come back, but he never did.
You done well, Xiaobao. Thank you. Black from head to toe, gliding across the darkness. The killer could have been wearing a long black cloak. Although the evidence doesn't point us towards a new suspect, we can at least prove that Ch2 is innocent. I should speak to the empress. Damn, so we don't even know who it was that... Anything to say? Okay, we should clearly just always speak to the empress first before talking to her, I guess. Unless it's like something that risks her life, maybe. You have an expression of relief on your face, Magistrate. I expect you bring good news. Yes, Your Majesty. My investigations has indeed shed new light on the matter of Shu Lin Fei's death. In that case, tell your tale. I do not wish to be kept in suspense for another moment. Okay. Whoever killed Shu Lin Fei did so with ruthless premeditation. He stalked his prey with patience and purpose. He knew their routine, their habits. He knew their weaknesses. He was aware of Ch2's customary visits to the waterfront for late afternoon tea. He familiarized himself with Shu Lin Fei's schedule, and he knew when she would return from the temple she often visited. He obtained this knowledge by... For days, maybe even weeks, the killer followed and observed the Shu. At night, he stood by this very window. Still and silent, he demonstrated an obsessive dedication. In this state, darkness and rain were his allies. Ch2 could not have killed Shu Lin Fei because earlier that evening his walking stick was stolen by a man who knew his and his daughter's every move. Once he had left Ch2 stranded, the killer made his way here to await Shu Lin Fei's arrival. But upon entering the house and seeing the cloaked stranger, the young woman did not flee. Astonishingly, she stood where he asked and did as he ordered. The killer accomplished this by... By now, the killer knew the Shus intimately. By breaking a walking stick, he was sending a chilling message. Unseen and unheard, he could get to them anytime he wanted. Shu Lin Fei chose not to fight and risk her father's safety. If it was her the killer wanted, she was willing to sacrifice herself for a chance to save her father. Shu Lin Fei understood the threat. She was willingly sacrificed and she willingly sacrificed herself for a chance to save her father. The killing of Shu Linfei was a calculated move, but I fear it is only the first of many. I believe our killer is only at the beginning of his grand vision. It wasn't enough for him to taunt us by leaving a rose, or even by taking his victim's heart. He wanted us to know precisely that his journey of destruction had just begun. I mean, does this have to do with our first? Because, like, the first case, I guess the girl lost her heart, aka Ambassador Chow's murder. Note he left behind was designed to be in his note, he speaks of a wolf on the prowl, slaves losing their hearts. In his mind, for reasons we have yet to understand, Shu Linfei was one of these slaves. He is warning us that more victims are to come. If what you say is true, Shu Linfei remained strong and selfless until the very end. How many of us would have the courage for such self-sacrifice? On the other hand, it seems we are facing a menace beyond what I imagined. I'm afraid so, Your Majesty. This predator will not cease until his plan has come to fruition, or until we stop him. I intend to... Your Majesty! Your Majesty, I have news from a night watchman in the central quarter. A woman. Another woman was murdered in her own home just 1 hour ago. So it is true. A predator is indeed among us. What else have you learned? Not much at the moment. Only that she was the newly wedded wife of Lam Haifeng, the late General Lam's son. One and the same, Your Majesty. General Lam would have been a strong supporter of your regime had he not succumbed to phenomia last winter. His only son, Lam Haifeng, was also a gifted army captain who still commands the loyalty of his father's troops. Yes, I recall. Hearing of his abrupt wedding last month, he retired from his official posts and vowed to lead the life of a civilian. And now his wife has been murdered. There is more, Your Majesty. According to my sources, the treasonous General Zhang has recently courted Lam Haifeng's allegiance. Zhang is no doubt attempting to strengthen his rebellious coalition. Could it be that Zhang is trying to terrorize the young captain into obedience? A thought has crossed my mind. But if that is true, Zhang is even more despicable than I give him credit for. Killing innocents is a line he will regret crossing. If I may interject, Your Majesty, I think we should proceed carefully and avoid jumping to conclusions. If we are wrong about General Zhang's involvement and accuse him openly, that would give your opposition an excuse to unite and start a civil war. Allow me to investigate the matter. If a thread is to be found that connects the killings of these two women to a plot against you, then I will find it. On the other hand, the killer is but a single deranged man. We must not lose sight of this trail by chasing conspiracy theories. You're right, Magistrate D. We need evidence. We must remember the stakes before we place our bets. You will go to the Lam residence. Investigate what happened to Lam Haifeng's wife, and report back with whatever ties you find between Shu Linfei and General Zhang. If Zhang is indeed involved in any of it, he will pay dearly with his brazen treachery. Yes, Your Majesty. Chapter 2. When Deaths Align. Later that evening. Okay. Oh, Lieutenant. I was like, who are you?
Magistrate D, I'm so glad to see you. As you've no doubt heard by now, it's happened again. Some time ago, between 2 and 3 hours ago, the lady of this house was brutally murdered while she was reading in the study.
Go on.
It's a horrible mess, just like what happened to Shu Lin Fei. It took me a moment just to gather myself after I saw the body. It was like a flashback, except it wasn't. These two women, they've been murdered in the exact same way.
What else have you found?
This place belongs to Lam Hai Feng. The victim was his wife, a young woman named Ch1 with Wen Yan. Apparently, they've been married less than a month. The Lams employ an elderly house steward and 2 servants, but all 3 live on a small adjacent residence south of the main compound. As far as we know, the 3 of them have completed their tasks for the day and have returned to the residence when the murder took place. The front gate has a rather flimsy lock, which our killer seems to have picked without difficulty. Coroner Yao is in there examining the body now. He can tell you more about the crime scene.
Did you speak to the husband?
Only briefly. He seemed quite shaken, but he seems to have a solid alibi. He's in the study now, waiting to speak to you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You stay here and make sure no one goes in or out. Okay. Okay, I was like, how come I can't go up? But I was moving a bit too far. Do they have, what? I guess they have to get to this little pavilion by boat. This is a rather nice looking house. Whoa. Okay. He was once a rising star among military elites. Why did he choose to give that up? Excuse me, Lam Hai Feng. Mr. Lam? Mr. Lam? Mr. Lam? Yes, I am Lam Hai Feng. Are you alright? I'm Magistrate Renjie. I am in charge of this inquiry. I apologize for my poor manners. My mind is a jumbled mess. There will be time for grief. For you, for now, you must gather yourself. I only have a few questions. Of course, please proceed. I want to help you in any way I can. I know time is of the essence. Tell me about yourself. Had you asked me that question on any other day, I could have given you a assured response. Son of a great general, I was once a golden boy destined for greatness. Or at least that is what I was told. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that life was not for me. I grew up with a sword in hand, but it was a lie. I could never fulfill my father's legacy. There's no dishonor in choosing your own path. I thought so as well. Yet here I stand, faced with utter ruin. My only love viciously taken from me. My life shattered into 1,000 pieces. Perhaps I deserve this fate for my filial betrayals. You must remain resolute. Do you think the memory of your wife deserves to be tarnished by doubt? You're right. Wen Yan gave me the 2 happiest months of my life. I will always cherish that. Tell me more about your wife, Wen Yan. After my father died, I was lost and alone. I had no sense of purpose, no direction. Then I met Wen Yan. She was a beacon of hope. She helped me see a new life. divorced from the military duties that had shackled me for so long. I had no wish to spend the rest of my days in one military barrack after another. I fell in love with Wen Yan, and she became the center of my world. And you married her only a short time later. Yes, we were married a few weeks after we met. I did not want to waste any more time. Wen Yan also had a difficult life. We both wanted to start anew. What do you know about Wen Yan's past? I think she was a bookkeeper for a time. She was an incredibly smart woman, but she struggled to find steady employment. An attractive and strong-minded woman like her is often seen as a threat, but that is what I love so much about her. That spark, that intelligence. Her curiosity and thirst for knowledge was unquenchable. Unquenchable. That's why she spent so much time in this room. She loved to sit and read for hours. Tell me more about your retirement from the Imperial forces. It was a clear repudiation from my father's wishes, but after his death, I could no longer continue the charade. I grew tired of the political machinations of a perverted military upper class, men like General Zhang who will abuse their power simply to perpetuate it. I found peace in my new life, something I could never dream of before. What can you tell me about General Zhang? Zhang Chao is more reptile than man, if you ask me. He courted my father's backing on many occasions, hoping to consolidate power in the shadows. But my father resisted until the end. He knew a man like Zhang could not be trusted. Did Zhang attempt to contact you? Yes, more than once, but I had no patience for his assiduous nature, let alone his deplorable schemes. No, there was nothing for us to talk about. His advances were squarely rejected. As a matter of fact, I had to turn away one of his lackeys just this morning. What was the purpose of the visit? He came to remind me of some kind of special meeting taking place tonight. A gathering of so-called patriots assembled by Zhang himself. Apparently an invitation was sent to my father before he died, but I had long ago lost interest in such political antics to pay any attention to it. The gathering is tonight. Do you know where your father put the invitation? No, I'm afraid not. Tell me what happened here. I had been out all afternoon. When I came home, the servants had already retired to their private residence. But I knew something was wrong when I saw that the front gate was unlocked. I noticed the light from this room and assumed Wen Yan was reading, as she has the habit of doing on most evenings. But when I stepped inside, there she was, dead, defiled, entrenched in her own blood. Where were you this afternoon? I was at a tea house discussing business with two friends. You can speak to them if you wish. I told this to your lieutenant already. Other than those involved, who knew about your meeting at the tea house this afternoon? No one. I was meeting my friends to discuss a small business venture. I see no reason for anyone to take interest in such a routine affair. How often were you having these meetings? 3 times a week. My friends are busy merchants. We do our best to schedule the meetings ahead of time, but I still don't understand why this is relevant. It's precisely because these meetings were routine that they may be of relevance. Think of it. How did the killer know your wife would be alone? You're right. Someone knew my movements. How could I be so careless? Wen Yan, what have I done? Did your wife have any enemies, people who would have wanted to harm her? My wife was a gentle and reserved person. She had no enemies. Then perhaps someone hurt her to get to you. Imagine a man in your position makes a few enemies along the way. I'd given all that up. I know my retirement ruffled some feathers, but my decision was met with more ridicule than resentment. The truth be told, most people were happy to see me walk away. It gave them one more vacant position to fight over. Did anyone take special interest in your decision? Now that you mention it, General Zhang did pay me a visit. He wanted me to reconsider. He wanted a new regime. He said a new regime was on the horizon and that I could play a key role in it. Had I promised him my allegiance, my father's troops would have followed my lead, but I refused him on the spot. I told him to leave and never come back. Do you think Zhang might be responsible for this? My father had warned me about his intimidation tactics, but did I underestimate his depravity? If he is responsible, he will pay with his life. I swear he will. I apologize. I suppose retirement did little to snuff out the fighter in me. Please find your killer, Magistrate D. We're both in your hands. I noticed a rather odd feature in your water garden. A walkway seems to be missing. Can you tell me why? Oh, that walkway is an old remnant from my father's military heydays. It opens a passage to a secret war room. I haven't used that room since he passed away, so I decided to keep the walkway closed. Perhaps it would be prudent for me to have a look. How is the walkway opened? Father would turn in his grave if he knew I let anyone else enter that room. I suppose life is full of disappointments. Here's the lever that opens the walkway. You'll need to figure out how to open the entrance on your own, though. I've long forgotten the combination. Okay. That's all for now. Thank you, Mr. Lam. Anything else here? Antique vase. General Lam has collected a lifetime of knowledge in this room. This bookcase contains books and scrolls about the arts, philosophy, and the game of Wei Qi. Oh, here's the rose. The killer has left behind another rose. Another rose. It looks like our killer has a taste for theatrics. Why a rose? Just wondering, okay. This library spans a great deal of subject matters. This bookcase contains books and scrolls about history, politics, and warfare. Okay, let's speak with Coroner Yao. There you are. I was wondering when you would join us. I hope you've had ample time to digest your last meal. I had to send Lieutenant Ma outside when his face started to turn pale. Thank you, Coroner Yao. I think I will manage. Good. It's not every day one sees this kind of brutality. This poor girl has been eviscerated and left exposed. As soon as we're done here, I'll have some constables take her back to the morgue. Of course, let's make sure she's transported with care. Is a preliminary report ready? Yes, I have finished my initial examination. This girl might be dead, but she still has a lot to tell us. What can you tell me about the victim? She was in her early 20s, 24 according to her husband. Her sturdy build suggests an active and healthy lifestyle. Yes, she does seem particularly fit and strong. Yes, just like Xu Lin Fei. In fact, the similarities between them struck me immediately. They share a remarkable combination of beauty and strength. If the same man is responsible for these two killings, I'd say he's choosing his targets rather deliberately. Can you tell me about the cause of death? All signs point to asphyxia. The killer most likely stood behind her and strangled her with some kind of rope or cloth, but alas, no signs of a struggle or the murder weapon. She was then cut open posthumously to facilitate the removal of her heart. I say she died no more than 3 hours ago. Are there any clues in the bloodstain patterns? I'm glad you asked. The blood patterns themselves offer no revelations, but they do suggest that our killer might be becoming more efficient. How so? Take a closer look. The large laceration in her chest has made her bleed profusely, which is to be expected. But unlike last time, the killer left no bloody footprints behind. Lieutenant Ma won't get to practice his doodling skills this time. So our killer is honing his skills. Yeah, precisely. He must have used the rags to manage the initial blood loss. Most of the blood you see here was likely discharged after he left the scene. Thank you, Coroner Yao. I'll leave her under your care. There's a book by her side. What was the book she was reading? There is a book on it's a book on classical literature. The interior pages have been torn up. There's a description. It reads, "To my dearest beloved, may your days be filled with lovely words and even lovelier thoughts. Hai Feng." Once again, the killer exploited a personal item belonging to the victim's closest relation, in this case, her husband. It's the same method he used to coerce Shulin Fei into surrendering to him. Both young women were unusually brave and selfless. Few could sacrifice themselves that way. Yet my intuition tells me something is amiss. Why did they act so passively in the face of such a threat? Okay, 6 clues to find. Tenma was right, her mood matches those on Shulin Fei. Okay, let's have a chat. Maybe we can ask about the book. I found this book by your wife's side. What can you tell me about it? I gave her this book as a present soon after we first met. I thought she'd enjoy it as she had an obsession with classical literature. She often lamented the fact that as a young girl she wasn't permitted a proper education. It was only through perseverance that she taught herself how to read or write. She loved this book. Why would someone want to tear it up? It appears the killer knew enough about you and your wife to know what this book meant to both of you. Okay, so we have to... Oh, not all of the evidence has been inspected. Oh wait, I see. Another one of the killer's notes. Why is he leaving a trail for us to follow? Is this some kind of game to him? Is it going to be the same note? No, it's different. To those who obey, let prey be mine. I have no sway, but death shall align. Okay, can I leave now? Yeah, okay, that was the only thing I was missing. So... Here we go. Here we go. You can even see this little slot here. Perfect fit. Let's see what this lever does. Oh my god. Ch2 table. Oh god, this is the combination. It's a stone tablet for playing Ch2. It's customary for scholars to learn the intricacies of this board game from a young age. I have to admit I'm a bit rusty. Well, I don't know at all, so you're still better than me. Oh boy. Okay, does this... Here goes. Like, where's the eternal ladder. Black and then white. Is there all that is to it? This must be a clue to finding the right combination for the Renjie board. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6. I just want to see if the number of letters have anything to do with it. Eternal ladder. Renjie's place is played by placing black and white stones on the intersections of the board. Okay. But like, the worst part is I have to do this one by one. Oh, that just takes it away. Yeah, like I don't think what I'm doing right now is going to be it. Is there a clue how this can be done? Is there anything else here? Okay, well, let's talk to the lieutenant. Not quite sure what I should be doing with that. As clues go, it's very vague? These killings have put me on edge. My wife is worried about me, but the truth is I can't help but worry about her. I've arranged for her to stay with her parents while this case is still unresolved. Understandable. Second thought, that probably won't work. Okay. This is the only thing I can do now, but... because I don't know how to play this game, or how this board should work. You need this key to open the door to the war room. Unfortunately, I don't remember the combination. I can grab things. I didn't realize. Oh, haha, this looks promising. A scroll entitled Renjie Basic Positions and Tactics. Okay, that would help a great deal. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Ladder Breaker. Rule of Eternity. So eternal ladder. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I need. No, keep going. You speed walk here. Okay. So let's look at this. Once again, I'm going to take a picture to make this easier on myself, because I don't want to have to keep scrolling back and forth between these two things. So I really just need ladder breaker, and rule of eternity. So, let's move all the black ones because they're definitely not in the right place. Keeping the white ones just in case one of them happened to be in the right place. Okay, so black we have, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Huh, turns out one of the black ones might have been in the right place. Look at that. Okay. And then I don't think I took this picture as good as I did. Okay, I tried to... Okay, yeah. And it's like, I sort of somewhat cough the edge. My bad to myself. So this one's here. That means this one is here. And then this one's just a straight diagonal. Oh wait. Okay. Yes, okay, I was like, nothing's happening. Nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? It's a bit dark in here. Okay, and he lets it. I was like, are you asking me to go get light? It's better. Okay, so either way, I'm going to end the set here. We got ourselves in the secret war room. So, thank you for liking if you like. Thank you for commenting if you commented. Thank you for subscribing if you subscribed. Thank you for favoriting if you favorited. Thank you for simply clicking on this video. Until next time, guys. See ya!